Budapest is the capital and the most populous city of Hungary and the 10th largest city in the European Union by population. The city is also cited as one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, ranked as the world's second best city by Condé Nast Traveler. It attracts 4.4 million tourists a year, making it a very popular destination in Europe. But why so many tourists? Before Budapest existed, there were Buda and Pest, two cities located on the opposite sides of the Danube River. It wasn't until 1873 that these two cities combined to form what today is known as Budapest, a unique city and one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. On the Buda side, you have the Buda Castle, the Royal Palace and its museum, and Matthias Church, along with many other historical buildings from centuries long past. This side is also mostly green and residential. On the past side comes the modern city of Budapest that includes the Parliament building that opened in 1904 and most of the residents of the city. That's also where most of the action is, restaurants, bars, and happening areas. Since you must choose which side of the city you want to explore, as the two are separated by the Danube River, Budapest is a history lover's dream come true. From the beautiful historic sightseeing to the incredible thermal baths, how can anyone not fall in love with the city? Welcome to Budapest.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about this beautiful monument. I mean, this is incredible.
Yes, actually it's considered one of the biggest parliaments in the world. It's the Parliament of Budapest, and it was built in the turn of the century, so at the end of the 1800s. And the style, what you see, is Gothic revival. So it looks like a Gothic church actually, but of course the Gothic style had been really long before, so it's just like a revival and imitation. And this is where we have the House of Parliament and where the government is working.
So the government still works here?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is an active government building.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to share one story with you, which I think really highlights how prosperous Budapest must have been at the turn of the century. And I always tell the people that if I could time travel, I would really love to go back in time to that era. So imagine that they had a call to architects to build a parliament. They had this plan to build a parliament. And the architects presented their works, they chose the winner. But then they said, oh, the second and third place, they are so good. Let's build those buildings also. So the two buildings you see in front of them in a smaller size, but actually you see that they have these two chambers, so they have like the same structure. They have been also built. So you have to imagine, how much money and like also this thought of prosperity and building all these things must have been.
Yeah, this is incredible. This is one of the most beautiful sites. I mean, I've been to Rome and places like that, but this is like as good as you get.
Yeah, there is also a funny saying that now, I don't know if they renovate, maybe we can walk around it, but they are renovating always one side of the parliament because it's so huge that the square folding is
kind of like La Sagrada Familia that's always in renovation.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. And it also, you can go visit it on 1 hour guided tours, and they take you around, and there's a lot of gold inside. There is the Hungary's biggest carpet in one of the rooms, and it houses also the crown jewels. Because Hungary became a Christian country in the year 1000. The King Stephen, the basilica is named after him, this one.
Gotcha.
He was like the first king who decided, okay, I'm going to make a Christian state. And he asked for a blessing from the Pope, and the Pope sent him this crown. So there are the crowns. Yeah. Actually, the crown is proven to be from a later era, but like as a legend or as a symbol, it's the coronation crown, which has almost 1,000 years right now.
Wow, that's awesome. Good, thanks for sharing.
So we are on the left side, and you see, if you look there, you see how hilly Buda is. So it's really very different. Now it's very easy to understand. And right there, you see that's the Gellért Hill.
Yeah.
And on the top there is the citadel. It's the fort which I mentioned to you, which was built not to protect the city, but to survey the city. And do you see the statue next to it?
Yeah.
It's the Statue of Liberty. It's a woman figure holding a palm leaf. And it was put there by a very freedom-loving nation. Who could it be?
United States of America?
No, I meant ironically a freedom-loving nation. It was put there by Russia.
Russia.
Because Hungary was occupied by Soviet Russia after the Second World War. Because in both World Wars we were on the losing side. Actually, it was very complicated historically. We were trying to be on
your
both
geographic
sides.
geographic location doesn't help.
No, it doesn't have. In 1848 it was built, and it was built by a Scottish architect. Or engineer.
Yeah.
And it's very special. It's called chain bridge because actually the whole structure is held by like really there's a proper chain. I don't know exactly where it goes, but I have seen like the chamber where there is really this chain. And by now this technique is not used in many bridges, so it's very unique in this sense. And I wanted to bring you here to the riverside to show you how low the Danube currently is. It's very, very low. I mean, sometimes it can come as high as here, and maybe they need to close this road.
Wow.
When there is a smaller flood. And I mentioned to you there used to be really huge floods until the Danube was not controlled. And I really want to suggest you to go to there is a Margaret Bridge, and there is an island. It's also nice to visit the island. I mean, we will see it from more upstairs. And you can walk from the island, currently, I was there yesterday, up till the first pillar of the bridge and even further around, and you get a really nice view on the Parliament. It's very unique that we have, because I haven't seen the Danube so long. So we are in the castle here, and it's the Matthias Church, Matthias in Bulgaria. He was a king in the medieval times, and he was also called the Renaissance king. His second wife was from Italy, Beatrice, and he invited a lot of Italian architects, scientists, well-educated people, and he founded, for example, the first big library. During his reign was the first time that they started writing down the history of Hungary, etc., etc. And I mean, there is even the legend. It's not a legend; it's true actually, but it's very symbolic that in the court there was a fountain with red wine. So it was very prosperous. And you see the black raven?
Yes.
And it's holding, you cannot see from here, but I tell you what it is. He's holding a golden ring in his beak. And that was the symbol of his family because his surname was Corvinus, which means in Latin a raven. And he had also a very famous army, the Black Army, which was able to protect Hungary from the Turkish. And actually Hungary was at its biggest extension during his reign. Hungary was really very potent. The story about the fisherman bastion.
Oh yeah.
That you see the shape of the bastions. They are not very typical for how a medieval bastion would look like. They represent in a symbolic way the yurts where Hungarians used to live, because I mentioned to you that Hungarian tribes were nomadic tribes originally. So it's a reference to that. And there are 7 towers, bastion towers, making reference to the 7 tribes leaders who signed the Blood Pact.
And 7 bridges.
Yeah, the 7 bridges is a coincidence, but...
Audio Jungle.
So we have arrived to the Jewish district, which has Jewish heritage, and currently it's the nightlife and bohemian district of Budapest. So it's a very eclectic, interesting history which we can have here. And you see here the great synagogue. There are 3 main synagogues in this district, and this is actually the 2nd or 3rd biggest synagogue in the whole world.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
The one bigger is in New York, and then I think in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv they built another one. Of course, it also depends if you count the cubic meters, the seats inside, or there are different variations.
Right.
And the Jewish versus, so we are very close to the medieval Pest. You asked me about the history, no? Of the Pest. And then usually in Europe, inside the city walls in medieval times, only Christians and only Catholics could stay inside. And so all the other religions, they had to stay outside, but the cities kept growing, no? Outside of the city walls.
Right.
And this is where the Jewish were settling in. But at the beginning, for example, they couldn't own land. They were all, because in whole Europe throughout history, they were always somehow hindering Jewish. So, they couldn't do certain profession. It's not a Hungarian thing, it has been always like that. So at least at the beginning, they couldn't own real estate, so they had just small prayer rooms. They couldn't have a synagogue, because to build a synagogue, you need to own land.
Yeah.
And then a law was passed that they can have land, and then this is when they started building synagogues.
Audio Jungle.
The date?
1945. Yeah.
18th of January. So this was when the Soviet troops liberated Hungary. Of course, Hungary was not really liberated, but we already discussed it, occupied. But what was really liberated was the Jewish ghetto. We had a Jewish ghetto here from 44 October, so for like 3 months. We will also see a piece of the wall and a map where it went exactly. But roughly 80,000 people were crammed inside in really just a small territory. So a lot of people died because of hygiene reasons, or there was not enough food. So actually here, we don't have too much light now, but you see tombstones. And this is, if you have Jewish origins, you know that the Jewish cemeteries are never next to a Jewish holy building. They don't mix the dead with the living.
Right.
So this is very unusual. For a Christian eye, it's like, oh yeah, there is a cemetery next to the church, but this is not unusual. And on the tombstones, you see always the date of the death is always 44 or 45. So these are the people who died inside the ghetto walls, and I mean, for lack of better space, they just buried them here.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
We are in front of the first ruin bar. It's called Simpla, you can even read there. And maybe the idea of, or this word ruin is starting to make sense, okay? And inside you will see, so basically it's taking a building. It doesn't have to be abandoned. It's not a squat. It's not illegal.
Right.
It's just a building which cannot be. You need to renovate it to do anything there. But then some people had the idea, yeah, but we could make a bar in it. You don't need to make it fancy to make a bar.
Yeah.
They had the owners had the idea originally from Berlin. I don't know if you've ever been, but Berlin also has a big underground scene. Now there is a Simpla in Berlin, which opened later because it became world famous. Yeah. And I already mentioned you the community work and artistic work they do, the local farmers market, etc., etc. And you will see also inside when we walk inside. So this ruin bar is just amazing. There is one guy handling the whole decoration stuff, and everything is recycled. So it's also this whole idea of recycling the building as it is, recycling all kind of furniture, creating art from waste. And you see,
so this is a very green, friendly sort of
it's a
mentality.
Yeah. And the concerts are still for free. Almost every evening they have a nice concert. So we will go in. It's very big. It used to be a chimney factory. And we will walk around. You will be really amazed.
So why do they call it ruin bar?
You will see.
Okay.
Already here you see, I mean, it's a stretchy side, but when we arrive to Simpla, you will understand everything.
Okay.
It will be very clear.
And the name of this one is again?
Elato.
Elato.
It means the provider.
The provider. Okay.
And this is very nice. I recommend it for example, I don't know why, but there are really good dancing. I danced a lot around the bar there.
Oh, so it's like a bar scene. So it becomes more active at nighttime.
Yeah, very active. And you know, every city has a flow, so maybe sometimes you find days and somehow it's not really going, but yeah.
So what do you think Budapest is going to go from here? I mean, this is up and coming like tourist city in Europe. I mean, there's like there's as much art here I've ever seen anywhere in the world. And what do you think in the next years are going to look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think there will be still a rise in tourism. I mean, it's a fact. They are opening more and more hotels, and it's making the city develop a lot. And what I have been seeing in Budapest, not only in terms of tourism but also in other terms, that it's developing for its best. So like all the new buildings or renovation or rehabilitation programs, they are quite nice. I think what's going to happen that some parts are going to become very tourist focused. And there is going to be a lot of foreign investment going on, but I think it's going to bring thriving in other levels as well. But maybe locals are going to, because this process has already started. I mean, the art scene or the bohemian scene is starting to move a little bit outside. So I think it's going to expand in this way.
Yeah, this is like an exciting town. I mean, I always had on my bucket list, but like I've actually been here and be able to see a lot of this. It's almost like 2 days. It's doing a disservice. I wish I'll be here for more days. But of course, there's a lot more destinations to come, and to see, and hopefully we'll bring a good picture of the whole of Hungary and Budapest, and hopefully we'll help you guys in the future. So
yes,
thanks for everything. A visit to Budapest will resemble incredible beautiful cities like Paris and Rome. You can make it memorable by visiting stunning historic sites, or you can make it bohemian, roaming around the ruined bars and tiny nightlife streets. You can relax for days at the thermal baths or beautiful New York cafes of the world. Therefore, pick your time wisely. Like or below, Anthony Bourdain said, "It's beautiful here." They said that, of course, that Budapest is beautiful, but it is in fact almost ludicrously beautiful.